Do you want to become a real estate agent but you don't know if that makes sense for you or not? This is the question I get all the time. In today's video we are going to be discussing whether or not you should get your real estate license, as well as some pros and cons of being a real estate agent. So without further ado, let's jump into some good and bad sides of being a realtor. Let's start with the pros first. This is probably the number one reason people get into this industry, and that's flexibility. Usually when you work 9 to 5 job, you have to ask to go on vacation, you have to ask for your days off, and let's face it, nobody likes to have a boss and nobody likes being told what to do. In real estate you can just take off whenever you want. For example, I just took a 3-week vacation and went to Europe with my wife, and while I was there I was still talking with my clients through email, but if I was lazy I could hire somebody to do that for me as well. Having a flexible schedule can also help tremendously if you are still working another job or if you are doing real estate part-time, which most of the agents do at the beginning. So for example, I was working at the restaurant at nights, and in the morning I was able to show houses, then another day I would be off and I would be showing houses all day or going on appointments. So you basically work whenever you want. This can also be a bad thing, but more on that later. Second reason you should get your real estate license is unlimited earnings. I mean, seriously, there is no limit on how much money you can make. This doesn't mean you will become a millionaire overnight just by getting a real estate license, but the potential is huge. It's not like working for a salary and you show up every day and you work hard and you're hoping for a promotion, and instead of getting 4% raise every year, you can double or triple your money if you know what you're doing. So the next reason is no college degree required. So you don't have to spend 5 years of your life studying real estate. Instead, you just enroll in online school, and requirements are different from state to state, but basically you just take online classes, and once you finish those courses you apply for the state exam. And this is where you actually have to study. I'm not saying it's super hard, but it's not easy also. There are many online schools out there and they're all similar in my opinion, but I personally like the C Shop. They're really simple to use platform, and they also have the practice tests for the state exam. I have a link for 30% discount in my description, so be free to use it. The next reason, and this is the part I enjoyed very much, and that's networking with people. In real estate I had the opportunity to meet some really amazing people that I would never met in my life if I was working 9 to 5 job. And I heard some really inspiring stories. So you can make some really good connections that can be beneficial for your personal and for your professional life as well. For example, I have a friend, he has a real estate license and he is also investor, so he would get good deals all the time because other agents and people know that he is always looking for rental properties and flips. It just opens so many doors to you. The next reason is better understanding of the market. This is great if you want to invest in real estate yourself, and I hope you do, or you want to sell a house or buy a house. You can actually see if the deal makes sense. You're gonna see if it's underpriced or overpriced. What happened to me once was I went on a listing and the guy was selling a fourplex as for sale by owner, and he was basically giving away this property. And I started reaching out to my investor friends and my clients, but by the time I knew it, he sold it to the guy next door for even less money. And it was a really good deal, and I felt bad because I didn't have money to buy it. But yeah, having a real estate license demonstrates that you have a certain level of knowledge and expertise in the industry. It gives you that credibility. So oftentimes people you know will be asking you for advice when it comes to buying and selling, and you can turn those questions into potential customers. So by now you're probably wondering, why shouldn't I get my real estate license? Everything you told me sounds amazing. But now we are going to jump into some cons of being a real estate agent. The first one is no schedule. Remember when I told you that you have a flexibility and you can work whenever you want? This can also be a bad thing, and let me tell you why. It's in human nature to take the path of least resistance. It's really hard to adjust from 9 to 5 industry to being self-employed and holding yourself accountable. It's very easy to get relaxed, and even the best agents are victims of this sometimes. Also, because you don't have a schedule, you can end up working long hours and you will be getting calls at night or early in the morning. Last night I showed the house at 7 p.m. and my buyer decided to make an offer, so I came home, we were writing an offer, going back and forth on email, and in the meantime my listing got multiple offers and agents were reaching out. You just have a feeling that you are never off. Next, the income can be very inconsistent. For example, 1 month you can make 20,000 and then the next 4 months you don't have a single closing. As a real estate agent, you don't have a guaranteed salary. Instead, your income depends on the number of transactions you complete. It's a constant roller coaster and it's really hard to plan financially. And you don't get paid until the deal closes. So imagine waiting for a commission check and a few days before the closing, the buyer doesn't get approved for the loan and the whole deal falls apart. This happened to me actually. The first time I was really shaken, but soon I understood this is just how business works, and the more deals you have under your belt, the bigger possibility is that you're gonna make money. I suggest you have at least 6 months of living expenses saved up. I didn't have this and made everything much more stressful. The next one is competition. The real estate industry is highly competitive with more and more agents joining every year because the barrier to entry is really low. So imagine you call your past client and say, "Hey Bob, are you still thinking about selling your house?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're listing next week with my cousin. He just got his license." It would be really awkward 4th of July barbecue if you don't sign with him. It's funny, but it's true. And also, if you're going on a listing appointment, the seller will be interviewing multiple agents to decide who is the right fit to sell their house. So it's very hard, especially at the beginning, to establish yourself and to compete with more experienced agents in the market. The next one is stress. Real estate transactions can be really stressful, particularly when it comes to closing sales and negotiating deals. It's even more stressful if you're doing real estate as your part-time job and you have a feeling that you are losing on a business. It's very stressful, but over time you get used to that. The last con is the barrier to entry is really low. Anyone can become a real estate agent, and this can give this profession a certain label. People get their license thinking that this is easy side hustle where you can make a lot of money just by wearing a suit, but reality is much different. The business won't come to you and nobody will give you any clients or leads. You have to talk to people daily about buying or selling. I'm not 100% sure this is true, but I read somewhere that more than 80% of the agents fail in their first year in real estate. So with all this being said, should you get your real estate license? Well, the decision is up to you at the end. I'm not trying to recruit you or to sell you on anything. This is just my experience and I love being a real estate agent. Honestly, I wouldn't change anything about my job. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you in the next video. Thank you.